This episode is all about Halloween. So hi guys, welcome back to a new Photoshop tutorial. My name is Manny, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you guys a complete Halloween retouch from A to Z. We're going to retouch a really cool mummy shot here. And yeah, let's get right into the tutorial. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm in Photoshop already. On the right hand side, open just the normal start layer here, which is basically straight out of the camera. Just took a photo here with a beauty dish coming from top. So very hard shadows underneath, no diffusing material, hard shadows. Okay, so first step that I want to do now is just touch up and clean up the image a little bit. I'm going to press Z on the keyboard and just zoom in and have a look a little bit around, and everything looks fine already. Over here we've got a little thing pointing out. I want to retouch that out. Over here a bit of color, but I think I can leave that in since we're still going to do loads of stuff for the look and style towards the end. I'm going to go down a little bit, and over here as well also the little dot, so start retouching that out. Okay, so I'm going to press S on the keyboard and just get into the normal clone stamp tool actually here. And I'm also working with a Wacom Intuos 5 Pro tablet, so I've got a little wheel here. If I change my wheel, it changes my size as well. And if I'm going to press Control Alt together, I can go up and down and change my hardness here really quickly. You guys can also do so via your keyboard. Left and right also change your brush size. I'm going to change my hardness here to just like a 40% or something. Okay, and make the size as well a little bit smaller. If you guys don't have a retouching tablet, you can also use the opening and closing brackets to make your brush a little bit smaller. Okay, let's start with this little thing over here. I'm going to hold Alt, sample an area, and literally just brush that out. Okay, like so, super simple, just over that, cloning that away. And I'm going to go into this area here again. And again, S for clone stamp tool, literally just the dark area, cloning all of that away. So you guys most probably know already about this. Okay, so let's zoom out. Image is a little bit cleaner now. Now, for the next step that I want to do is basically start right away just with a dodge and burn layer. So I'm going to go over here, create a complete new layer. Let's also select the marking tool, rectangular marking tool, please. I'm going to make a selection around my complete canvas, hit right click, say fill this, and I'm going to go under the contents area here and fill this with a 50% gray layer. Hit OK. That's going to give me a gray layer. I'm going to press Command D. I'm working with a Mac. If you're on a Windows computer, please press Control when I say Command. So Command D, get out of the selection, and right away I'm just going to work with one dodge and burn layer. I'm quickly going to rename that to D and B, and I'm also rushing quite through this since I think most of you guys already know about the dodge and burn process. Okay, so the next step, again, the blending options here. I want to switch this to overlay, not soft light. I want to have this a little bit harder. So overlay for this effect. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit closer. I'm also going to press B again, get into the brush. And first of all, what I want to do is feather my brush completely. So Control Alt together and take the hardness all the way down to 0. And the size, we will change that via my board here really quickly. And I'll always use different sizes. As well, I'm going to go back to opacity at the top and change this just to 7% opacity. So not harder and not less. Okay, 7% over there. Flow, you can also work with that a little bit. I normally keep my flow to 100 and just work with opacity. Okay, so I'm going to start with the dodge and burn process now. I guess most of you guys already know how this works. Again, dodging the highlights and burning the shadow areas, and then we kind of create a new person. So I'm just going to start with the process here. And then throughout, I'm going to fast forward the video. And yeah, if I get to a certain point where I want to show you guys something, I'm going to stop the video again. But you guys can sit here and watch just how I dodge and burn quickly for half a minute. Okay, so basically, again, as you guys can see now, I just did the rough dodge and burning. Let me just quickly switch this layer off so you guys can actually see a normal layer. So I started just with darkening the outsides here of the shirt, then as well brightening again the highlights here on the hands and just highlights in the face here, so it just pops a little bit more. Now I'm going to continue again with dodge and burning, but this time I'm going to change my brush size to a really small brush change it to burning, so basically dark foreground color, and I'm just going to burn all these little small edges in here and bring character out a little bit more. I'm also going to fast forward this again. Okay, so as you guys can see, now again stopping the dodge and burn process, and again I'm going to switch off here the background layer so you guys can just see where I've worked in all these little areas here and also darkened again around the head, so basically burning again these areas. Also on the hand a little bit, I'm going to switch that back on again and switch again back to my brush here, black foreground color, and literally just darkening again a little bit these areas here, shadow parts, and yeah, that's basically it actually. For the dodge and burn process, didn't want to do too much here, and I guess most of you already know about this. Okay, so that's basically my first step, just dodge and burning the whole process. You guys can also press again Command G, put that together in a group if you want to, and yeah, dodge and burn process. I'm going to minimize this and we're going to go now to the next step. So first of all, what I want to achieve here is just a normal base plate, so basically all the colors look pretty much the same. I'm happy with my base start. So again, I'm going to go choose here a new color just from again the adjustment layers down here. I'm going to go to selective, or actually solid color. It's going to ask me what color do I want at the moment. I'm just going to leave it to black, hit OK, and turn the layer off. And the nice thing is now I can double click on here again and choose a color here. So I do want to pick pretty much the same color as we have the brown here from our mummy. So what I'm going to do is just maybe here from the hand, select a little bit of a darker, brighter color as so, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to hit OK and accept that again. So obviously it's applied everywhere. First of all, I'm going to change my blending options all the way to color, so it just looks a bit better with the color. Then the opacity as well, I'm going to play with that in a moment. First of all, what I want to do is just take the mask here and invert that with Command I again. Again, B for the brush, white foreground color. Let's work with, I'm going to start with 50%. Okay, 50%. You guys can also just press 5 on the keyboard to get there quicker. I'm going to brush in here again with a very soft brush, so the edges are completely feathered still. And I'm just filling here the white shirt, so I want to get rid of that white actually. So on the shooting we just used a normal white shirt, and I think a mummy would be completely brown and yeah, not white. Okay, let's paint over this as well. I'm going to paint once more, so it's almost applied at 100% opacity. Okay, and the color is still a little bit strong, I think, so I'm just going to take the opacity down a bit. But before I do that, I just want to correct here a few things. So basically meaning I want to clean up the hands so we don't get this brown onto the hands as well. Again, switch with black foreground color. This time I'm going to press Control Alt just to make my brush a little bit harder. So say let's start with around 55%, and I'm just cleaning up the fingers, we don't want those. And again over here, yep, just clean that. And I'm doing this really quickly and roughly. Guys, you have to take a bit more time when you do this. Okay, a little bit in here, here we go. This we can actually keep with a new color later, great. And as well the small finger here, and this finger. Okay, so the hand is obviously a different color. We don't want that to be brown. We're going to do that at the end. Okay, as you guys can see over here, 100% opacity, still looking quite strong. So I might just turn that down a little bit. That we, yeah, we'll decide at the end as well. But for the start, I think 70%, turn that off and on. That's good so far. Okay, so for the next step now, I do want to feather this a little bit more and control the lightness and the whole brightness here just a little bit into the center, kind of creating a vignetting effect again. So again, I'm going to select the marking tool, also going to go select the elliptic marking tool over here, and I'm just going to make a rough oval selection here, like so. Also again, going to press M, so I can move my selection, okay, somewhere over here, and now I still need to feather the selection. So again, I'm going to go to Select, and we're going to go to Modify and Feather. Feather this by 250 pixels. Okay. So this shrinks a little bit. I'm going to go do the same process again. Select, modify, feather once more, again 250 pixels. Great, so now we've just feathered the inside, so basically the effect is happening inside. What I'm going to do, I need to also invert this once we created the adjustment layer. So let's move over to adjustments. I'm going to go select the levels adjustment layer over here. And directly you guys can see now the effect, it's obviously in the inside. We want it on the outside. So very simple, again, Command E, and you can just invert that whole step. Okay, so it's basically now affecting the outside, which we wanted. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit. And I'm just darkening this a little bit over here. Say like a 50%. Let's have a look, a little bit less, a little bit more here. 49%, around that. That looks around good. It's a bit dark, but I can still play with this. Maybe 50, 51. That's what it's going to be. Okay, maybe I'll want to have a look at the end if I still want to make it a bit stronger or softer. I'm actually going to take it a bit softer now, so I can at the end maybe duplicate it and use it again. So it's affecting the hands as well quite a lot, which I don't like at all. Very simple, we're just going to work a little bit on the mask and correct this a bit. So again, take the brush with B, Control Alt again, feather your brush completely so the hardness down to 0, and the size, yeah, you can choose the size of whatever you need. Again, I'm going to work with 50% opacity, not right away 100% opacity, so it's just a bit smoother. And I'm literally just with a black foreground color painting here on the hands. First of all, get those details out, and then again, this badge over here as well. Okay, and just taking that out a bit and softly feathering this. Okay, as well over here, the finger. Not too much over the shadows. I'm actually going to go to opacity 30 or 25, something very soft. Literally just softly paint over this. Okay, so I like it already. If I later maybe want to have that a bit stronger, I'm just going to duplicate the effect and it's going to give a bit of a stronger effect. Okay, let's delete it for the start. We're going to just keep it to this. Okay, let's also over here a little bit on the outsides, not too much, but I like that it actually feathers so much on his head over here at the top. Very soft there. Maybe I can take the opacity still down to like 80%. So much control over this. Okay, great. So I'm happy with that. Now off to the next step. Okay, so for the next step, again, Command Alt Shift E, master shortcut, and we're combining all the layers to one. Now before you do this step, please just ensure that you are happy with your results so far, because obviously once you create a merged layer, you can't go individually into the layers and tweak it again. I guess you guys know about this. Okay, so I've got the layer 1 over here, and this is basically where I start going into color now. So I'm going to work with a plugin today called Nik Software Color FX Pro 4. I'm going to choose that for the start, and we're going to create a first overall color look. So before I start ready, on the left hand side here, I'm going to go into a preset called Bleach Bypass. So just to get a really cool music looking and very contrasty looking image out of this, which enhances all the details a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to tweak this a little bit. Let's have a look here with the brightness. I'm going to tweak the brightness down. Nope, just giving more contrast. So up again a little bit. Okay, like a 6%. I do like that the saturation goes down quite a lot. I'm going to keep it up a bit more. 40% actually. So we're getting a bit of brown back again. Contrast, I'm pretty happy with that so far. Low contrast as well. And my shadow and highlight details as well. I can still show you if we take the shadows up. Just brightens the shadows. So I'm going to actually take the shadows to like a 10%. This always depends on every image, it's different, so yeah, play a little bit with these settings, but Bleach Bypass overall gives a really cool grungy, contrasty effect here. I'm going to hit OK. That will be applied first of all to my image now. Okay, so Nik Software is done rendering. Now we've also got a new layer here called Bleach Bypass, and again, as you guys can see, it adds a really cool contrasty effect to that. Maybe even changing the blending option would be also a cool idea. Let's try that. Darken. No, I'm missing my pop over here. Multiply. Yeah, you guys can also get a few more effects out of this. Soft light, really brown. So there's a lot of techniques to work around this as well. I'm going to keep it to normal and just continue with this process. Maybe at the end take the opacity down a little bit. But I actually want to go back into this filter in the plugin here and create a bit of a color effect also in the plugin. So again, this is the start. We're going to go right away back to filter, Nik Software Color FX Pro 4. Okay, so for the next step, what I want to do now is just create a bit of a color mood just for the skin. So basically just for the mummy, not for the whole bandages and everything around the mummy. So what I'm going to do is go on the left hand side again and select ink color over here. And again under ink, I'm going to go right away here to select color number 5, which is basically this. Okay, which we get a lot of greens and blues in here, but I don't want to apply this on an 80%. So maybe just take this down to like a 50%, even less, 20%, 13, no, a little bit more. So as you guys can see, it looks very dark green, blue as well. It's very weird actually. So I'm going to go with like, yeah, say 15%, and I can always take the opacity down again in Photoshop from my layer. So I'm happy with 15%. I'm going to hit OK. So as you guys can see already, this looks a little bit more browner, warmer, and the other one looks a little bit cooler and a little bit darker. So I want to create a mix of both of these together to one. Okay, so Photoshop rendered that. Now as well, what I want to do is still get for the bandages around here, just a brown color. So again, let's go back to Filter, Nik Software, Color Effects Pro 4. And again, under ink on the left hand side, in our presets here, I want to choose again a new color set on the right hand side. I'm going to go with color set number 3, which looks pretty intense. But what I want to do is just take the strength again down, this time 50%. Okay, it looks a lot of red here, but that's fine. Shadows and highlights, I'm going to leave all of that, hit OK, and I've already got my new color as well. Okay, so we already got our brown color now. Now again, what I want to do is start right away over here and just create a mask on top of that. And again, also take the whole layer down a little bit. So just with the opacity all the way down, maybe just to like a 23%, 24, 25%, actually a bit more. 26%, okay. So again, before and after, obviously we have a lot of different colors in here. What I still want to do as well is take the brush again and also just hide again the face over here. So we're basically just painting out the face. Maybe let's keep that to 100% for the start so we can see what we're doing. Again with the brush here, 100% foreground color here with a black color, and I'm just painting out quickly here again the face. And again, bear in mind my brush is super soft at the moment. Take a bit more time when you do these processes. Okay, so as you guys can see, this face looks a bit more scary, more dark, a bit more blue in there as well. Okay, let's go around here, and yeah, clean this all up. Okay, I'm going to make my brush a bit smaller, go into that little loops. Okay, and we're also going to do the same process down here for the hands. Bear in mind, I'm also doing this a bit more quicker. So take your time when you guys do this. And this looks really like a super scary hand. Okay, I'm going to refine these edges a bit here. And there we go. Can't literally see all of that, but that we're going to fix in a moment. Okay, this little finger over here. Make my brush a bit smaller and just go around the bandages. Great, so we get a little bit more blue back again from the skin here and the face. Okay, I'm going to switch with foreground colors again and just fix here all my areas that I've just brushed over so quickly. Okay, and that looks alright actually. Maybe over here a bit. Okay, let's clean this. And we're going to go into here. Okay, so obviously doing it super quick. Now what I want to do is to obviously take the opacity down. So we said something around 25 pixels, sorry, 25% opacity. 26 here, that looks good. Before and after. Great, so what I want to do now as well is to give the overall effect here on the skin as well. I'm going to just duplicate this layer with Command J. Take again my mask here and just invert it with Command E. Okay, and directly this applies obviously to the opposite, so we got this on the skin. But now I don't want to apply the exactly same opacity, so what I'm going to do is maybe just turn this down a bit, 36, no, actually down a bit more, 18%, so it's a little bit more darker blue that's actually shining through. We can also go back to the ink over here, tweak this up a little bit more, So it looks a bit more browner, 26%. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. I'm going to use again the second layer here, just to tweak that again a little bit, more down or more up, depends on how much color you want overall. I'm actually happy with this, 20%. Let's also have a look here if we tweak everything off again. So again, that's our start here. Then we added a bit more contrast, a little bit blue color to all of it. Then obviously just here the outside and the bandages, and then giving just the mummy a bit of color here. So the blue and that other yellow shines through as here a middle color of blue and brown. So it looks a little bit different as well on the print. It will look a little bit nicer. Okay, yeah, so that's basically it. Applying all of that together. Then taking all of these layers here, Command G, put that again to another group here, maybe just color. There we go. We can also take our other two layers here, Command G, and we're just going to write here light adjustment if you want so. Okay, and then again overall, I'm just going to go back to adjustments here, curves adjustment layer, and I just want to tweak the highlights a little bit more. So just literally a bit more here, highlights, and taking the contrast down a bit more, darkening that again. Also maybe taking another anchor point here in the center, a bit more contrast than we had before. Okay, so the highlights pop a little bit more. So again, let's have a look quickly. Here's the before and after, before and after. So the mummy stands out way more, and as I said earlier as well, if we want to, we can still duplicate this layer, Command J, put it all the way to the top if we want to just add a bit more vignetting effect here. If you really want to, it might suit the image, maybe a little bit down, 60%. So again, here's the vignetting effect before and after. Depends if you like it or not. I'm actually going to turn it off and not use it, delete. Okay, yeah, so that's basically it for the Halloween retouch. If you guys want to see what happened lately on the channel, click right here. And if you want to see more overall what's happening on this channel, click right here. Then as well, if you do, don't forget to hit the subscribe on top. At the bottom is retouchpro.com, a link to our website where you guys can find some more pro tutorials, actions, textures, tons of stuff there. Great, yeah, so if you liked the episode, don't forget to hit the like button. And yeah, have an epic Halloween. I'm signing out. Till next time. Bye-bye.